Our next speaker, Mariatta, is a web developer at Zapier. She spends much of her time volunteering in the Python community. She is a core developer, as well as a PyCascades and PyLadies organizer. As a core dev, she focuses on improving the Python contribution workflow, making it easier for developers to contribute and collaborate to the Python project. Please give a warm welcome to Mariatta.
Thank you. I'm really excited to be here. This is the first time I give this talk, so it's really exciting for me. The one fun fact about me that I think not a lot of people realize is that I'm the CPythons expert in emoji and core workflow. Now, I know you're wondering, like, what is an expert of emoji? Why does CPython need an expert of emoji? I don't know. My expertise has never been needed. Just throwing it out there in case you need an expert of emoji. So instead, let me talk to you about core workflow. I'm also an expert in this for CPython. What is it all about? What is core workflow? What is this? The core workflow is a special working group within core Python development where we discuss improvements and tools and infrastructure that supports the development of CPython. We also discuss topics related to your experience to contribute and as well as experience of the core developers in maintaining CPython. To give you an idea, these are all the different pieces of CPythons workflow. First, we have the bug tracker that is called BPO, bugspython.org. That's where if you're looking to contribute or you have a bug with CPython, you go there to file an issue. Or you're looking for issues to work on, that's where you will go. Once you figure out an issue to work on, you have a fix, you have a patch, you need to make a pull request, you will go to GitHub. That's yet another website. And we have all these different communication channels. We have lots of mailing lists, we have Discord, Zulip, and if all of these ways to communicate over internet is still not enough, we need to meet in person. So we have sprints, we have conferences, we have language summits. So it's really, really complicated. In the past 2 years, there's been quite a number of improvements to our workflow. Started in February 2017. That's when PEP 5.12 became final. That's when we switched our code base from Mercurial to GitHub. It was great, but pretty soon after we moved, we realized something. You know, that assumption that all developers were born with GitHub account? That was wrong. That everybody understands Git branching? That was wrong. And we realized this quickly. So about a month later, we started writing better documentation related to working with Git and GitHub. We have that Git bootcamp. And soon after, we realized that, well, there are still lots of boring tasks like backporting. So we need better tools. That's why we built Cherry Picker and to help our release managers with managing the news entries for CPython, we built Blur. And later on, we built even more bots. Like we built Bedware, we have Miss Islington, and eventually we have Blurbit. Our workflow is better than ever, but realize that it took time until we built all these custom tools. There was a period of time where maintaining Python seems like a chore, a burden. Now, even though it's better than ever, I think our workflow can be further improved. I think it would be great if we, instead of using BPO, we use GitHub. So I wrote a PEP about this. And there are a lot of reasons why I chose GitHub, why I think it's better. It has a lot of nice features. It supports emoji. It has lots of APIs. And we've had lots of great success utilizing those APIs from GitHub into our bots. It's great. But those are not the only reason for me wanting to move. Part of the motivation is that I hear from people, various people throughout the years, who tell me that they find the existing bug tracker is just so hard to use, intimidating, that they got turned off. This is troubling to me. This is not the only person who say this. This is very recent that another project, maintainer of another open source project, they suspect there's a bug in CPython, but instead of actually filing the bug, they just message me on GitHub. That's not the right, I'm not the one who makes decisions, so the best place right now, if you have bugs, go to the bug tracker. But they're reluctant to do that. So this is troubling to me. And it's not, we have 7,000 open issues already. It's not like we really need another issues to be filed. Yes, you know what? Lots of people looking for issues to work on. I'm leaving those 7,000 issues for you to work on. Your experience in contributing is something that I really care about. That's what matters to me. So that's why I started thinking about how this all can be better. Now, maybe you started thinking like, well, if we've identified issues with the current bug tracker, why don't we spend time improving it instead of moving away? That is an option. In fact, there is another PEP that proposes just that. Let's stay with bug tracker. Let's improve it. Let's spend time. This PEP is still open for discussion. One of the reasons is that wouldn't it be better to continue supporting open source project like BPO instead of moving to proprietary service like GitHub? I think it sounds great in theory. In reality, this is what I think. I don't think you all really want to develop an open source issue tracker for free. That's what I think. I mean, we've been using the issue tracker for 10 years. In that 10 years, less than 5 core developers contributed to it. I think there's a bigger problem there. But it is still possible. I mean, prove me wrong. Maybe you're all tomorrow very motivated to work on this. I'd love to see that. For example, there are issues like I need REST APIs. I need them to build bots. And we still don't have them in BPO. It's been requested since 2011. It's a long time. And I just think this project is not ready to accept lots of changes to it. I think the issue tracker is very important and crucial tool. I think we need to leave this to the professionals. So what's wrong? Like, if we want to go use GitHub, what are we waiting for? Like, isn't it just a matter of checking this box? Enable issues on GitHub, done. Migrating issue tracker is actually a pretty large project. It's more complicated than moving the Git repository. There are a lot of different metadata that is not captured in the repository itself. So it's such a large project that we have yet another PEP discussing this. So PEP 581 is where we will outline all the details of how we will do the migration. There are still a lot of things we need to address here. If previously with PEP 512, we did the switch first and started building all the tools that we need. This time around, I think the desire is that we have all those tools and documentation in place ahead of migration. So the switch to using GitHub issues should be the last step. One of the biggest risks that we need to acknowledge is that the fact that GitHub is proprietary. People are worried that one day it could just disappear without notice. It's valid concern, and we've seen this happen with other, companies got acquired, suddenly they got shut down. Yes, it is valid concern. I also think it's not a unique problem to CPython. 40 million developers, 40 million GitHub users have the exact same problem. What we're doing to mitigate this is that we are already capturing daily backups of our entire repository on GitHub, and we have that in an S3 bucket. So we have backup daily already. That's the best we can do right now, but eventually we're going to need to figure out what are we going to do with the backup. What if it happens that GitHub disappears? Let's take this backup somewhere else. Let's spin up another issue tracker. Maybe we'll move to GitLab. Another issue is that the BPO is not just our issue tracker. The BPO is the host, is the database that contains all of your CLA, the contributions license agreement. We have bots right now that will check whether you have signed the CLA when you make pull request. It makes a call to the BPO. If we're going to retire that, we need to figure out something else. For the past year, we've been looking into the possibility of using an alternative solution, like using CLA Assistant. Last month, we realized that's not good enough for us. We need something else. The issue is that CLA Assistant does not support handling CLA signed on behalf of organization, only individuals. So that is really important to CPython. We still haven't figured out what we need to do here. We might need to just build something new. Maybe you can help us build it, or if you know a different solution that will work for us, let me know. The plan is to have a test repository that we can play with, where we can copy over a whole bunch of issues from BPO and see how we will react to it. Like maybe we need to improve the documentation, maybe we need to build more bots to it, we need to play with it. Again, as the idea is to build and write all those docs, to build those tools ahead of the migration. So this is, I think, something where you all can help with. Test out the repo and tell me what bots you want, or what do we need to document. And once we have those set up, we need to update our dev guide. The idea is to have a different branch that will where we will write the new workflow, the test branch, or just for where we need to document like how we will handle issues, how we will triage issues, how we will label them. And this is also a place where I think I'm way too familiar with GitHub. I would like to hear from those new to the process. Maybe you can tell me what you want to be documented, because I know too much. So this is, I hope you all help me with this. We will need help with triaging issues. GitHub makes it really easy to create issues. That means we will need to somehow handle them. So far, the role of triaging issues, triaging pull requests on GitHub has been responsibility only by core devs. There are not enough of us. we need help. And recently, GitHub has this beta feature that gives you triage permission. You get to open and close issues. You get to apply labels to issues, but not merging pull requests. And CPython has been granted access to the beta. And in the past 2 months, some of us have been working on documenting the role, the triage role. And it is now on the dev guide. You can read about it. And we need your participation. If this is something you're interested in helping, starting today, starting this morning, you can apply to become a member of the Python triage team. Go to the dev guide under the triage section, as well as go to the core workflow. There is a special issue template for requesting the membership. All it takes, unlike the process to become a core developer, it's very complicated. We need 1 week period of poll. Everybody needs to weigh in. All it needs to approve your triage membership is 1 core developer to approve it. And there are about 100 of us. I'm sure there will be one who is willing to help you and guide you through the process. So this is new as of this morning, because I just merged the PR. We're not done building bots and tools. We need them more. First of all, we need to actually write that script for copying over those issues. We don't have anything yet. I don't have time to do it myself. I'm hoping somebody will willing to do this. I think it will involve you understanding how the issues is hosted in BPO and then move them to GitHub. So this is something still open. We need to figure out what kind of data we want to migrate. So we'll need help with this. The other tool we will need is that an effective way to notify core developers and experts on issues they care about. Say, if an issue has been labeled with Windows or async I/O, we want to notify the experts of Windows or experts of async I/O. There is no way to do it right now. You basically need to manually mention people or assign them. We need to automate this. So that is, if you know of an existing bot, tell me about it, or otherwise we're going to have to build it ourselves. One of the recommendations from the steering council with regards to the migration is that this needs to be handled professionally. It should not rely on volunteers' time. It should not rely on me having time to follow up on everything. This should be handled professionally, similar to how the warehouse project was handled, similar how we are handling the Python 2.7 end of life. We have a professional project manager to do that. So we might need to have our own professional project manager to handle this migration. We might even need several contractors in case we need to build all those bots. I'm going to leave this to the PSF to do the hiring. I'm not the one who will hire or interview people. But what you can do is donate to the PSF. If you go to this link, your donations will go directly to support CPython's development. So if all of these are interesting to you, you have more ideas on how it can be better, how the core Python workflow can be better, talk to me about it. Go to our Discord. There is core workflow category. That will be the best place to discuss this. And that's all the time I got. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you learn about our workflow. Thank you. Thanks for having me here. This topic is something I will be thinking about for the next 2 years. I hope you're as excited about it as I am. So thank you so much.